Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name is Adam, and as always, I'm joined by my mate Baker. How are you doing this evening, mate?
Yeah, really well, mate. Really well. A lovely weekend with the family, little boy's birthday.
Happy
Been a pleasure.
birthday to your little
Yeah,
man.
happy. Yeah, all good, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I mean, I say not bad. It obviously we'll talk about it, but as always, it gets ruined by Tottenham. So that hasn't really helped me very much, to be quite honest. FPL's going okay. I'm in kind of survival mode, and it's weird because I think I actually have more chips than quite a lot of people by the start of next week. So it's weird being in survival mode, and yet I feel like I'm going to be in a half decent position. I mean, I almost bench boosted in this week and last week, but mainly because I wanted to try and, beef up my front 11, but I haven't been able to because it's just been too poor. And decisions just almost taken out of my hands. But, so far surviving. This week's going okay. I can't complain this week. It's going all right.
That's good, mate. And yeah, took the differential captain route and could pay if Mo don't make Wednesday.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's obviously not. I mean, yeah, and then Kane got snapped from behind from Pogba, didn't he? And then I was like, oh Christ.
Yeah.
Because I called Salah a penalty merchant, and then he went off injured, and then Kane scored a penalty, and then got snapped from behind on his Achilles, and I was like, "Oh no, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt me." But
There's a lot of penalty merchants about, mate.
There were a few.
That's reason. There's a few. There is a few. It's only good if you get them in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, quick plug for the podcast. So, the podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast from. We also record videos, so we are on YouTube. That is youtube.com/above average FPL. Make sure you hit that like button if you're on YouTube. If you subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or on a podcast, that would be great. And then you get the latest episodes directly to your device once we release them. We also put a tweet out to let you know that the latest episode is there as well. The podcast is supported by a good friend of ours, Crypto Block Dan on Twitter. You'll see his name below us on YouTube. Go check out his page on Twitter. He is into the crypto space, NFTs, and all that good stuff. So if you want to know a bit more about that, then go check him out.
Cool.
This week, should we talk about this week?
Yeah. Well, we're halfway through.
Yeah.
Ish.
8 games.
9 games. Is it? How many games?
9 games gone so far, I think.
9 games, yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll just bring up your FPL optimized. So why don't you tell us how it's going, how you ended up where you are, and
it's all right. It's good. I've played my triple captainship this week, so on Mo. So my big predicted gain for the end of the week is based on Mo playing, and let's assume probably not. Who knows, but probably not, I suspect. But even if he doesn't, it should be all right. It should be okay. And yeah, I was sort of 1k going into it, or just outside, like literally 0 points outside the top 1k. I'm currently just inside the top 700. A lot changes it, is that Rafinha assist just on its own was like 200 spots in one go. It's pretty volatile, and everyone's got the same players.
You got double Arsenal at the back as well.
Yeah, but
yeah,
then
I was kind of.
Some people had Lacazette, didn't they? Or they had Martinelli. If they didn't, if you didn't have double at the back, then you have got Martinelli or Lacazette, haven't you? So therefore, kind of all evened out. So yeah, it's all right. I mean, there's not a huge gains, but there shouldn't, hopefully, touch wood, be any big losses.
Yeah, I mean, you're currently you were expected to be 4 points ahead of the top 1k. You're currently 8 points ahead, and you projected to now finish 11 points ahead.
Yeah,
that is based on Salah obviously playing. There is a big spike there for Salah, but to be honest, against the top 1k, I mean, you're not going to get too much damage from that.
There's a lot of people that have got, everyone's captained him or triple captained it, so you're not going to lose a lot. Like loads of people are going to go, oh, I've got all those other captains, but you're just not going to gain what you hope to do. So, and there's all the bragging rights in there. Everyone wants to claim that their strategy is the best one and it works and this is what you should have done. And, triple captain 26 has got to beat the 29. Do you know what? Like, just not asked in that world. You can't just keep looking back, trying to work out what's right. You just got to see where you're at.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I'll move on to me. So, I took a 4-point hit and obviously went against Salah with the captaincy. I've got Kane. And so, that Saturday afternoon was a bit of a struggle for me, really, just generally speaking. Very little in the way of players early, but obviously Kane getting the goal obviously pushed me back up, as you can see, basically put me back on track. So Salah being a problem knocked me down below expected, then Kane brought me back up. Then Rafinha has helped me avoid having the complete disaster that I could have had this afternoon, because he was the only person that I had before the Arsenal game. I did have triple Arsenal, so I got Tierney, Martinelli, and Saka. So Martinelli with his assist, and I wouldn't have begrudged a clean sheet wipeout, I have to say, because especially with Ben White picking up bonus points as well. I mean, that was quite painful. He did get bonus in the end, didn't he?
You got one, I think, but
you got one.
Actually worked out quite well next. You think there's a lot of people who Ambrosia, a lot of people had Jimenez, a lot of people had Coutinho this afternoon. A lot of people had Dina, and he cleared off after 10 minutes. So yeah, it's all right, mate. We take it.
So hoping for a bit more hoping for a nice clean sheet from the City boys tomorrow. No one's going to have that, which is nice. I'll get all those points, which is lovely. And then hoping personally for no Salah midweek, and then hopefully Kane does something, even if it is another penalty against Brighton. That would be very tidy. So yeah, I'm looking to basically be tracking to 0, which is fine. It is what it is, and as I say, I'll have an extra chip versus everybody else. Whether that helps me or not, or hinders me in terms of planning, I don't know yet. But
if either of those happen, though, if the clean happens for City or Kane bangs, you'll be fine. You'll be well over 0. So
yeah,
it's all good, mate. Move on.
It's all good.
What we doing now?
So just a quick look, we're talking about optimize. We're using it more and more this season, just to see how we're doing compared to our sort of sample size, which is for me top 100k and for you now top 1k. But just a view against like the prime managers, which is a group of elite managers, I understand it. And so the graphs that are being shown on screen basically show the difference between what you expected to be versus the average and what you actually were versus the average on a week-by-week basis and on a cumulative basis. So what you can see is in game week 9 for myself, you can see a huge drop where I actually finished 30 points behind the average. And that's to say, if I was supposed to be 10 points behind the average, for example, and I actually finished 40 points behind the average, that would be the 30 that you see on this graph. So you can see that, I made it up quite nicely in game week 17-18, brought my sort of season to date up to above 0, which was nice. And then from game week 25, when Bruno scored in the last minute, and I didn't triple captain Salah, and then I just didn't have any points in 28. I was just an absolute disaster. Whereas conversely, yours has been more consistent and more, I don't know, just
lucky.
Well, there is a bit of luck. I mean, what these graphs are showing is variance, right? So that's what these graphs are ultimately showing is variance. But it was what was said last week, what LR was saying last week, and what we said last week is it's you put yourself in a position to get lucky, and then put yourself in a position not to get completely fucked. So that's what you've done. You've done it very well, and that means when you've been hurt, you haven't been hurt that badly. You've had a couple of bad weeks, but that's game week 22 and game week 10. That's it. Everything else has been, just really solid. But I mean,
I think when I look at it is the position to get lucky. The way I've tried to position get lucky is have as many doublers in every week. Just go for it every week that I can get them. Even the Everton ones that didn't come off, or the triple West Ham got that straight on. Every single thing I could to get triple up, on doubling teams. I've done everything I could do to get it, and just try to give myself the opportunity. And loads of them don't work. Loads of them don't pay. But enough work out and they accumulate, because even if someone gets 4 points, it's like they've got an assist every week. There's a lot of times I've been really frustrated with my doublers, and I think a lot of people feel that. But actually, when I looked at this and I thought to myself, put myself in a position all the time and actually just steady accumulation. But realistically, how bad is it going to work out if you're always giving yourself the chance? And that's the interesting thing for me, while I'm sitting in it and thinking about next season, is going, this has been a really good season so far, and hopefully I can continue that way. But won't have that position next season, and that's going to be the really interesting one of how big do we go in hits? What do we do? It says to me, just keep doing what I'm doing at the moment, which is just keep getting as many doublers, because the market changes. Could you believe when it refreshed that like Doherty and Kulu were both 60% owned in the top 10k?
Yeah, mad. Really,
From
really.
nothing.
And we've talked. Yeah, I think what was it? LR said he was 0.003%. I think it was like 3 or 4 managers in the top 10k. He had Doherty the week before, and now he was 60% owned.
Like it's mental. It's so engaged. Just keep telling yourself is the case of the herd will go, and you've got to be really confident if you want to take it on.
Yeah,
and you can see it. Like I noticed about Thursday night, I just go and quickly flick on game week transfers in, and I just think to myself, if there's 200,000 of a player in, it'll be over 50% of the top 10k will be in that one.
Yeah,
in that section every time. And
provided it's not just somebody that's flashed out the blue with a massive return without any sort of substance going forward. Because I think if somebody had, I think even the transfers in for Toney this week, there's probably were quite a few, but none of those were in the top 10k. No one was owning him in the top 10k really. His ownership in that was nothing. Yeah, definitely. So okay, cool. So we'll just do a quick mini league shout out, and then we'll talk about the week from a chips point of view, and see where we stand.
Yeah, go for it.
Because we don't normally talk about the mini league, but I know we are midweek, and we have to say that. But what's interesting about this, and you mentioned it just before we started, and I was going to mention it anyway, is you don't have to be triple captaining Salah to be in the top and around top of mini leagues. There's in the top 10 for us, there's 5 that have, 5 that haven't. And so you can see probably the clear split of strategy in chip strategy. So some went in 26, some went now. But I mean, everyone captained Salah in our top 10k. So leading the way is Jamie Piggott. Football is life. He's on 2,053 points, closely followed by It's Always Sunny, Johnny Weller, 2,046 points. Then it is yourself, Baker, on 2,036 points. Our top 10 goes down to 2,011 points, which is, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy to have, considering I think we had about 35 people in the league last year. And our top 10 is now within the top 2k basically. So that's quite good for us. I wish I was a little bit closer, but we do what we do. Always next season.
We don't know Jamie, do we? I don't think we do. But if you listen, Jamie, I'm hoping you do, in the fact that you're in our league, reach out to us, send us a tweet, let us know who you are, because Jamie's literally played his first wild card and his triple captain. He's got all his other chips, and he is smashing it. Yeah, he's ranked 287 with all those chips to go. Yeah. Like to hear what your plans are. So reach out to us, mate, if you listen to it.
He's got an interesting side as well. I mean, he's got Van Dijk in there. He's got Bednarek.
Did we do that to him?
Bednarek, probably.
Has he got one bonus point in that first game after we
scored
bonus pod?
He scored, didn't he?
But I don't think he's got another bonus point since.
No. Well, that's not our fault.
Is it?
We can only go by what the data that's in front of us, mate.
I'm not
we can only go by that. Do we break
might
him?
have ruined him. Yeah, I think we broke him. Pretty
Oh,
confident. I think he got, after that
Oh,
8
go on then.
points, he got 1.1 point, minus 1 point, 1 point. That was the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, we definitely broke him. Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good.
Chips for 29. Chips for 29. You sent me a very interesting piece on this yesterday.
Yeah, I just think when I looked at this we talked last week about comparing like the top 10k versus overall and where is it on a chip strategy, but 80% now of the top 10k have played wildcard. So I think there's something that says if you're in the top 10k and you've not played wildcard, wow, you've done incredibly well. There's probably, when everyone's trying to do their own self-vindication, there's a bit about those that are in the top 10k that have played their wildcard that are saying, yeah, we did the right thing. But if you're in the place you'd sort of like to be in the pack for now, you can be really confident because 80% of the top 10k now play wildcard, 95% have played triple captain, 90% have played one free hit, and nearly half of them now play bench boost. So you can really make moves. And for those that are in it, I don't think we need to be that fearful of the ones that are sitting there with the chips in hand. I think we can just keep being really aggressive and going for it because there's a lot of people around us that are in the same position. So you've got to try and keep pushing on. But a lot of chips played, a lot of them played. Nobody's played in the top 10k has played all 6 chips. So it's 6 chips, isn't it? 2 wild cards, 2 free hits, bench boost, and triple captain.
No, because the wild card is only the second wild card. This wild card is only the second wild card. So you've got 9.6% of people that have played all their chips.
All their chips. 9.6% have played.
Yeah, 900
all their chips.
What's great about this is actually the percentage equals the number of people. So it's 959 managers have actually played all of their chips in the top 10k.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, and then, yeah, quite a lot of them are well through their chips.
So 195 managers have only played their first wild card.
Yeah.
Oh no! Sorry, ignore that. Ignore that. They've only played one. They've played their first wild card. Obviously,
they've played one of them.
They've played one of the. They've played one of the chips. No, everybody's used a chip. You can see that 0% 0. Everybody has used a chip so far of some kind.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we're there.
We're there, but it's just a thing of thinking, actually, it's been loads and loads of chips played. And if you are sitting 15, 20k, 50k, 100k and thinking, I can't make it, but you've got chips in hand, you can make it. You just got to go at some point.
What if you haven't got many chips in hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so
I think you just got to work out is what can you do, and sometimes you just got to get lucky, like you did this week. Is maybe it's to pick the second captain sometimes and try and push that way, or do what you do. But also, I do think so. My thing, if we've been like, this is like what I'd say is my 3rd season of playing proper. Can't go professionally or something like that, but like really, really trying. And the one thing I've always tried to tell myself every season is stick to some principles, work out how you want to play it, and see how that works out. And don't really waver a lot with that, because otherwise, if you keep knee-jerking, you're not really learning. But you can have small windows. So you could say, for example, for the next 10 weeks, you could go, I'm going to try and be a little bit more aggressive because I've actually reflected on it and thought I've not been aggressive enough. Or I could go the other way around and try and be a bit more template, and be less aggressive. And you can still learn lessons in 10 weeks. But I just think is whatever you do, if you can do something that tries to learn, it's got to be a good way to play. So yeah, just got to
give it a go.
Not just have a beer and watch the football.
Sounds good. So we're talking game week 30 plans, because we've still got lots of games to go this week. So once again, wouldn't advise anyone making any early moves. If you saw the guy Rob who does those songs on his guitar, he brought in Reece James the day before he was announced as injured. So he's sitting like 800k in the world, poor guy, but You know, he's guilty of moving early and getting burned by it.
Yeah.
So you can still get burned at this point. So I would do do your utmost to try and hold on to those transfers until we get most, if not all, the information that we can get.
It just doesn't make sense when there's games to be played. Like,
yeah,
unless you're on free hit, and then just do it like. But
be careful with prices.
yeah, but even that though, if a few injuries turn up, so say you were going to play free hit because you want 7 players, but then 2 of those popular. So let's just say Kane and Son get injured in one game, because it can happen.
Yeah.
Is look at today. Antonio and Cresswell got injured in the West Ham game today. Now we don't know anything because Moyes said, "I ain't telling you because I've got Sevilla," and he's not going to say anything. So we're going to learn nothing until that Sevilla game, and then even that we probably won't learn anything. But 2 key players can get injured in one game. That changes the landscape massively. That might make it that you more want to play free hit or less want to play free hit, depending on what the circumstances around you are. But we just have to, it's not worth going early this week, definitely.
Fair enough. But I mean, in terms of how we sort of stack up, or how you stack up against the top 10k, so we put something together from. Is this from Live FPL?
From Live FPL, yeah. I messaged Ragabolly and said, "Is there any way you could tell me?" Because I went on to like the top 10k stats and started counting up, and I literally got the calculator, and he said, "Oh yeah, there's a page that tells you. Here it is. Just flick the right thing." I was like, "What an idiot!" So you can do this, and you can. So whoever's looking at this, if you go on to Live FPL, we'll tweet the link out with our tweet tomorrow, and you can choose the sample size based on where your rank is, and it'll tell you. But it doesn't drop massively, even if you drop it down to like top million or anything. Is most teams are looking like they're going to have around 7 to 8 players. It says 8.5 in the top 10k, but it's not quite right because you can't play Ramsdale and Sarr, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's a little bit less than that. So it's about 8 players. I fully expect that anyone in the top 10k, I think the average will be 10 players. That's what will be there, is if not the full 11. It is, because we've still seen how quickly they move.
Yeah, I mean, an early poll. I mean, if you go to FPL or Corf_FPL's Twitter about 7 hours ago, which means nothing to you if you're listening on Tuesday, but at about 2:00 on Sunday afternoon, I just realised that about 2:00 on Sunday afternoon, he tweeted out asking how many players you're likely to have for blank game week 30. So what we're seeing on the screen is, as per their current team, how many players have a fixture next week. Whereas he's sort of gone, how many players are you going to have, which obviously accounts for any transfers people are looking to make. So, and it's basically split 4 ways between the 4 options that he gave. So the highest out of the 4 is 27.3%. So that is 8 or under, 9, 10 or 11. So, there's going to be a variety of numbers, but 9.5, 10 is probably, where most people will be. And that's a small sample size, but it is indicative, I guess, of where the top 10k will probably be.
And there's free hitters, which will obviously immediately have 11.
Yes.
The interesting one's going to be if Salah is a few weeks out. Because if Salah's a few weeks out, anybody...
You don't need to keep him for Watford.
Anybody that hasn't tripled up already on Tottenham is going to go to Son. Even though Son wasn't great, they're already looking at it thinking 46% owned in the top 10k. That number with free hits alone will go to 60, 70%. It'll be 80% owned in the top 10k next week. But the means have got to come off another Tottenham asset. So I wouldn't even surprise me if some people, let's say Matt Doherty, as quickly as he came in, if Tottenham don't keep it clean, there'll be people that go, I'll go Matty Cash for Matt Doherty, and then I can go Salah to Son.
Yeah, potentially.
Because we've seen it this week. A lot of people went Son to Kane. People are bringing it back in again.
I think people would be more likely just to go, oh, well, do you think people will do that? Or do you think people will want to go just double up on Liverpool defence if they haven't already as well, just to make sure they get coverage of that Watford game.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's difficult with the City game in front of it, and then you got to think about how you're going to unwind that, right? How you're going to get it back to Salah in say 33, for example, when they go away to Villa.
Still a lot of people wild cards, and there'll be a lot of people thinking this is it now. I can really push, and then wild card in back in, and it'll be a really big decision for us. So that's another reason why we've got to hang on and just see what the deal is. But we're not really going to get the information, I think, on Salah, because I reckon he doesn't play midweek, and then I reckon we don't have a clue.
We get smoke and mirrors from Klopp until
because they can use it as an excuse for him. I think he's more likely to play Watford if he then doesn't go to the international games.
And then they've got true. I mean, they've got no reason for him to. Well, they're playing Forest, right, in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So I don't think that Forest are going to cause the same problems to Liverpool as they did to Leicester and to Arsenal. So I don't think they need Salah to win that game. They shouldn't do, of course. So it's not a necessary risk for him to take. Although, I mean, again, like how bad is a Mane, Jota, Diaz front line? I mean, that's frightening anyway.
It's frightening, mate. They can easily do it. It's not really a big problem. But
I didn't put that in. I didn't put it in, mate. I didn't put it in.
What?
The PGMOL thing.
Oh, I've got the speech. When we get to the Brighton game now, I'll give you the speech. I can give you the speech. But for those that are not looking on the screen here and listening in, as it stands, what do you need for game week 30? There's basically 2.4 Arsenal, 2.4 Spurs, 1.6 Wolves, 1.2 Villa, 0.6 Rafinha, which is the Leeds, and then nothing really across West Ham, Leicester, Brentford. So if you've got less, but you have got Kane, because I think Kane's going to be 150, easy.
Yeah,
easy in the captain. Saka will be virtually 100%. He was 84% owned already today. I know he blanked, but he still will be. He'll be virtually 100%. So if you definitely go in with Saka, you definitely go in with Kane, you have some form of Wolves, you've got Rafinha or Coutinho, a couple of them.
Yeah.
You're probably okay. So I wouldn't worry if your number's 7 against 10. It's what 7 it is. If your 7 is triple West Ham, and a couple of Leeds and a couple of Villa, that's probably an issue. Yeah. Free hit wise, what would you do if you're on free hit?
Well, we've got one for that. Hold on, we've got one for that. Let me just bring that up. Where are we? There. How do I get that across? I click that button there. Right. So I think there's obviously you want to be targeting Arsenal, Tottenham, Leicester are the 3 that you want the most from. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I think you can cover with either a Martinez or Sarr or Casper. You could even go Casper in goal against Brentford. I think that's quite a wise move given how Leicester were today, I guess, and how I'd probably expect them to be better. But on the screen is the FPL review optimized team as of last night, so Saturday evening, and that's before the games today. There will be updates to this based on performances today, and there will be updates to this based on expected minutes as information comes out throughout the week. So don't expect this to be the final squad. What FPL Review also does is it gives you the best squad. So it puts all 15 players in there. So very quickly for those listening on the pod, it's Martinez and Sarr, Matty Cash, Reguilon, Cody, Saiss and Gabriel. Then you've got a midfield of Saka, Tielemans, Maddison, Barnes and Son. And then you've got Lacazette, Toney and Kane up top. Which for me next week sounds like an unbelievable squad, but you don't need 15 of them. You probably only need 12. You almost certainly don't need a backup keeper, I wouldn't have thought. And yeah, I think targeting the Tottenham, Arsenal, Leicester are the top three is the most important thing for me from a free hit perspective.
Just looking at this though, would you, mate, like, would you go against Ramsdale? Like, you just see it today, like in a easy win, effectively, with only 3 saves, he still gets 2 bonus. He gets, he knocks out a man who scored a forward who scores a penalty.
Yeah, true.
Like, you can't take it on Ramsdale. Stuff that. Would you, having seen what game week 28 guys that didn't have Coutinho did, would you not have Coutinho in your free hit and take on everyone that's got him? Would you not have Rafinha, who had like 2 XGI today? No chance would I take those guys on and have triple Leicester who feel like they're on the beach. I don't know about that team. I think Son and Kane, I think I would have Saka, Lacazette and Ramsdale. I think I would have those. I would have Toney. Toney over Jimenez?
Yeah, Toney over Jimenez. I mean, just on Toney, so I've got a little graphic there for you on Ivan Toney. So out of Brentford's last 8 goals, he scored 7 of them. Granted, 3 of them are from the penalty spot, but he's had an XG of about non-penalty XG of just under 2, from which he scored 4 goals. So he's overperforming, or he's on form. Spin that however you want, over such a small sample size. But the man's confident at the moment. He shaved his head. He's confident.
We joked about it, didn't we? When he shaved his head, we joked about it. Said new haircut. I think we even said expected haircut or stuff like that, and we didn't get it. He's won actually some of those penalties as well. Like, he knows that. He's absolutely knows I'll win a penalty here, and because I'm so confident, I'll just put him in. He's so good off the spot.
Has anybody been watching the quality of Eriksen's balls just generally, like how he's been playing? Because
the quality of Eriksen's balls.
I mean, you can clip that however you want. That's fine. But he's just an unbelievable playmaker as well, and I think that adds to, Toney's armory, if anything, in terms of his potential threat on goal as well.
I definitely think so.
A bit of bias there as a Tottenham fan, but still.
Yeah, but what we saw when Eriksen left Tottenham was that everybody who was further forward than Eriksen had to come back and do the work that he did. Because you just knew, get the ball to Christian. We can all run. It's no coincidence that once he went, that Dele Alli's career basically finished. Because he then started dropping into midfield, lost all kind of position. Whereas he just knew, we give it and we go. And the one thing we've said about Toney all season is that he drops too deep. He drops too deep. He's not dropping deep now because he knows that he can just stay up there and Eriksen will put the ball in. Leicester, we saw him again today, fallible on corners. Would you take a punt on Eriksen over a Leicester midfielder?
I like it. I like it. I really like it. I do. I was saying it in one of the spaces earlier. I think if you want a differential punt for 30, I do like Eriksen.
Yeah, I'd go Eriksen.
There's a bit of sentimental in there, but still, good player, isn't he? So that's the short of it. Very good player.
And you want to keep an eye on how they do in their conference one, because it's going to make a big difference. You already saw today they made 4 changes. You're like, they're not prioritising the league anymore.
No, I agree.
And their season could be over by next weekend. I'd probably go Toney and Eriksen. Have some fun. Cool.
So, I mean, look, if you're thinking of going on to free hit, if you're not on free hit, it doesn't matter. Just let us know in the comments on YouTube what you're thinking of doing for the coming game week. If you have any, 50-50 decisions or anything like that, drop them in the comments or drop us a message on Twitter. Just let us know what you're thinking. And we can help, if in some respects maybe. We might hinder, we might help, but at least you get more opinions on more don't even know what the word is to say, like more 2 heads are better than one type thing.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Should we do? We'll put in the comments on YouTube. We'll put who our free hit team is come the end of the week. We'll do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll do that.
Cool. Where are we going next? Games. Yeah. A lot of games so far. Still 4 to go.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start? We start at the top?
Yeah, let's start at the top.
Brighton, Liverpool.
Brighton, Liverpool. So yeah, I watched. Do you know what? Because obviously I was, as you might have said on Twitter yesterday, I mentioned I wasn't watching the game. Was at Diggerland for the son's birthday, but keeping an eye on it, and heard there was a Salah miss. Heard there was potential red card situation at the start. So you heard all those things, and I watched it back in the evening. And
so before we talk about the game, should we talk about the red card?
Yeah, red card.
Because whilst I said I hadn't put it together,
you got it.
I've got it. Magic.
Read it, because it makes me too angry.
So this is the statement from the PGMOL, which is the Referees Association. It says the VAR operator, who was Stuart Atwell, was unable to find any clear evidence that Sanchez made any contact with Diaz from all the camera angles available to him at the time. I can't finish it without laughing. Therefore, Mike Dean was correctly not asked to take a look at it at the pitch side monitor. What?
It's no coincidence it's Mike Dean, mate. We've talked about it so many times in this pod that Mike Dean just says, fuck you, VAR. I'm just carrying on. And I can just tell you what's happened. If that ball doesn't go in the net, it's a penalty. Nailed on. And Mike Dean, I sometimes commend Mike Dean in some ways because I think he just refs like VAR's not there. But he sent off, what's his name for Brentford? Josh Da Silva.
Yeah.
He sent him off. He sent someone else off about 3 weeks ago. So he suddenly had a few VAR reds, and I feel like he just thought himself, they've got the goal, mate. They've got the goal. Let's carry on. They've got the goal. Come on. He's all right. He's getting up now. He's been on the floor for a bit, but he's getting up. It's fine. And I just feel that's what happened. And it's like, that doesn't help us, mate, because we see other ones where someone wins the ball cleanly in a tackle and then follows through and hurts someone, like Holgate did on Højbjerg, where he won the ball cleanly and then hurts him. And injured a player. That's what the rule is. That's why we did it. And it's like, you can't stick a rule out and then take it away just because the ball went in the net.
Yeah.
And then they make up some excuse that he couldn't find contact. Piss off.
So
mate.
credit to Peter Walton, who's the guy that they go to on BT every single time. He stood there and said, they've got this wrong. Because he did say live, he said, they've got this wrong. Mike Dean should have been sent to the monitor to look at it. And he was right. Because it was ridiculous. I mean, look, what I will say is that keepers do come out and they make themselves big, but and that's one thing actually is would we have the same, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, would we have the same uproar if he'd have got a hand on the ball? Do you think?
Well, then exactly.
And that's what we're talking about. Is it, I always think of like Kasper Schmeichel, who always comes out massive, and you come out with your feet sliding out in front of you, you make yourself massive. Striker makes a shot and you make a save with your hands and your feet just wipe out the guy. Like, is that a foul? Is that a penalty? Is that a red card? Is it reckless? There is a lot to it, but in this instance, he was so far away from the ball.
Just get him off the pitch, mate.
He should have gone. Simple.
He just should have gone. It was stupid.
Back to the football.
Back to the game. I mean, 22nd time this season they've had over 2 XG. They're the elite. Nobody comes anywhere close. We said about Arsenal, Tottenham, City being the teams that get above 2 XG, but this team are monsters, and we have to find a way to triple up.
We haven't. Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at this on like Understat or looked at the guy all that crap because I wanted to have a look at the timing of these. Because it wouldn't surprise me if most of this was in the second half because in truth, actually, I thought Brighton were quite good in the first 20 minutes. They really pressed Liverpool quite well. And that's where some of these chances have come from. Mopé had one that skimmed past the post from about 25 yards. There were a couple of
Yep.
others in the first half. I thought Brighton were quite pretty good value for money in the first half hour, bar the goal from Diaz. I even thought then for a while that Brighton were okay, and then you just felt them just get just overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and that's it. They basically just suffocated them just through pressure. Liverpool in the end, and it
It's
just
exactly
kind of flipped.
how it played out. It's exactly
So
how it played out. Half time, it was basically both teams. It was like half an XG to 0.8 XG at half time, and
yeah,
then it just flies. And then obviously a penalty massively puts it up. So that also, puts just a big number on it. And Salah had a big chance, which does the numbers in. So it's not the great. And I felt like Brighton win the game a little bit, as you always feel. There was one early on where Trossard had a chance and he just blazes it over the bar, and I was like, oh, it's another one where they just shit himself in front of Alisson. Just
I
happens
mean, they did go
all
through
the
some of them
time.
on Match of the Day. There was some poor decision making made by some of the midfielders in positions that they got into in that first half,
Yeah,
where they could have made a difference. I mean, McAllister for one. I think there was a ball over to the back. Was there supposedly a cross over to the back post by Pascal Gross that
yeah.
could have been just pinged over, clipped. It just had to be clipped over to the back post. I don't know who was coming in at the back. Kukurea maybe. Um, but they miss those opportunities, and you need to make the right decisions almost basically you need to make the right decisions every time against Liverpool if you're
Hmm.
going to create big chances and have chances of scoring goals.
You can't miss against them, and everyone does, and they don't, and they just accumulate so much they're going to score.
Yeah,
Diaz again is just he's so good.
yeah.
I don't know what we can say more than that of a player that's just walked in. The game's going to get really interesting if somehow Mo's out for a month.
Mm.
In a way, we'll wait and see what happens with it. But just lots of very, very good players doing lots of very, very good things.
Yep.
And it feels like a waste only having two of them for me at the
Mm.
moment.
Yeah. Can't get to a third at the moment. Can't quite
Well,
get
we
there.
could probably, but it's
Well, we
almost
could.
like you don't want to block yourself out. But when do you just get Joel Matip? When do you not just do it? When we did that
Yeah.
bonus pod, I texted you and I said he's the best player we'll never own because
Yeah.
it's just so good, so many shots, so unbelievable. We're not going to own him.
Never. And Allison,
Alisson, talked about it
9
last
points.
week. So good.
Great save from Welbeck as well. I mean, you see that one,
Yeah.
the front post. Just he just was, as you said. It was exactly as he said last week. He puts himself in a position where it is just like, yep, my arm goes up. That's not going in. That's it. Didn't even have to move. Just arm went up. Wasn't going in. Simple.
Dismissive, mate. The goat.
So cool.
Move on.
Brentford Burnley.
Penalty.
I mean,
Good
yeah,
ball.
penalty, good ball. That was about it, really. There wasn't much from. There was a bit of a pop from Rodriguez, which I thought was quite cheeky. That strike was decent, but
Yeah. That was decent.
other than that, not much to write home about. I think we've talked about. I mean, you're not going to go back to Burnley again this season, at all. I can't see it.
No.
Um,
And I
and
don't think you're going to go to Brentford either.
unless
Really.
unless you're on free hit for 30, as we've already talked about.
And that's another reason why I do it, because you do say about like, oh, I could get Toney in, say, for Brozier, but then Chelsea away, like 31 immediately. And you're like, well, I'm not so sure about it. Then you do get West Ham at home, Watford away, Spurs at home, United away. Oh, just not when there's teams doubling.
Yeah, true.
It'll cause you an issue that he's just in that place where you're like, I'm not benching him.
Yeah.
And I can't see it. So that's another reason why I'd probably look at it, I think, maybe if I was on free hit. And there's a few up there, like Pinnock, for example. So he got 2 bonus this week. Like if you wanted a cheapo in your free hit team, he's not a terrible option this week.
Don't hate it. Let's do it.
Do we have to?
We kind of have to, yeah.
So Man United didn't quite make 1xG, but Cristiano basically did 1xG. I think sometimes XG, though, like we look at it a lot and stuff like that, but that first goal, that shot was something like 0.02 XG.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's not player dependent, is it?
No, it's not, and that's the thing you always have to think of. And
So on that, let me find that shot. When you talk for a little bit, let me find that shot, and I'll tell you what it was.
yeah, but I've been really impressed recently with Ronaldo. Every time I've seen him, I think he looks like looks like a good player. What am I saying? It's Ronaldo. Like it's genuinely Ronaldo. Is and I feel like we didn't feel that way as Tottenham in that Dyer stood off him for that first one, and you're like, you can't, and you've got to be looking for him, on that run on the second one. And then the header is just horrific from a Tottenham perspective.
Ridiculously, just on that quickly, ridiculously, you're right. 0.02 xG for his first goal. Can you guess what his xG was for his third goal? Without looking at it.
That header.
Yeah.
0.2, 0.3?
0.02 xG.
Unbelievable.
The same.
Probably because it's so high in the air or something stupid. I don't understand really, but
one thing to say actually, Tottenham's second goal, we didn't get any xG for that because it came off Maguire.
Oh yeah, it's the standard, isn't it? All those business.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I thought we were value for a point at least. I thought we were value for a point at least.
Football.
Really
good, really good football.
We just didn't create. I mean, look, we got roughly 1 xG non-penalty, and I think that probably tells the story because I thought we were actually on top of the game and just didn't create enough good chances, and that was the big thing. That's why we didn't end up killing the game off because I think, bar Ronaldo being Ronaldo, I think that game could have been 2-0 Tottenham, and I think if it had been 2-0 Tottenham based on the the balance of play, I think people would have gone okay. Might not have been too happy with it, but probably would have accepted it. It's just frustrating that we are this yo-yo team at the moment, and it makes it very difficult to understand what's happening. Except the fact that we win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. So it can't be bad for Brighton coming up.
Yeah, when you look at the team, though, right, if you think about De Gea and the stuff, the amount of big games he would have played in, when you think of Rafael Varane, when you think, even Maguire, from a Champions League, from an England perspective, Alex Telles has won many things, Fred and international games, Matic has done it all, Cavani's done it all, Rashford's played at every level, Pogba's done it all, Sancho's plays plenty for his age. Obviously, Ronaldo's done it all. Like, we're a naive team compared to them in that sense, and that's how you end up playing lots of good football, but you can still lose games. Thought Fred was brilliant against us. Thought Pogba always looks like he's just. Whenever Pogba plays against Tottenham, you just always look at it and go, Tottenham have not got very good midfielders. That's how I always see it whenever he comes on. He's just so big, so mobile, so. Especially when he's got the bloody shaved head. You look at it again, it's expected haircut. It does us in every time. You're like, oh yeah, he's on it. He's on it.
And it's weird because we say this like it's this Dr. Tottenham type mentality that we have that, players will go 10 games without doing anything and then suddenly Tottenham will turn up and, that'll be the game where they break some kind of duck or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, look, I'd like to know if any other fans feel like that again with their club because we talk about it so often.
Yeah,
I'd like to know if anybody else feels like that. That
I'm sure there's
keepers have the best performance of the season only when they go to X ground, which is your ground.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mate, Ronaldo scored enough hat tricks in his time. It's not the only time he's ever done it.
59 hat tricks. I mean, let's just pause for a moment to understand that. 59 hat tricks at the professional level.
That's the bit. That's the bit that's so naive.
Fathom it.
Is Man United do a weird set play, and we just fell for it. We literally just chucked all our men out at it, and then it was like, hold on, if we got to the ball first and everyone's running at the ball, what was we going to do? Head the ball over the bar ourselves? It was just so stupid. And
Well, yeah, it doesn't work unless you're going to block runners. You have to block runners to do that. And while I was absolutely raging at Romero, what I didn't give credit for was actually Varane that had run in front, and actually therefore and actually meant that Romero moved forward to go and try and block that run. He'd seen the flight of the ball, so didn't commit to Varane, backed off a little bit, didn't get anywhere near it. Doherty couldn't get anywhere near Ronaldo, and that's what it was. I'm still pissed that Romero can't head the ball. I'm still pissed that he can't head the ball.
Which he can't. That's a fault. That's what we know now. That's probably the bit that's annoying for me. Is that Romero is not a good header of a ball. There's loads of things he's really good at, but heading the ball is not one of them. And so you've got to place the right people in the right places. And that's what I'm talking about, this naivety, this experience type thing, where Hugo, Dyer and Kane need to organise that team in certain areas and say, we're the ones there. The problem with Romero looks like he's the same age as Ronaldo and he's 13 years younger than him. Like, he looks older than him, if anything, if you look them next to each other. But he's actually quite a young player. And yeah, we just got done, mate.
Yeah. Can we move on then?
Are we going to go to Ronaldo?
I don't think so.
Don't think so, but they get a double in 33 and Tottenham don't. He could still get one more go on the captaincy this season.
We'll see. Right, where do you want to go first on today's games?
I'm
waiting for you. I'm waiting for all of them, mate. I've got all of them, funnily enough. I either go back to the results.
Let's go Leeds.
Right, yeah. Click the button. I'm just clicking the buttons. I don't know which order they're in.
How's Rafinha just got 5 points?
I don't know.
I'm so pleased with Rafinha today as a player because I, owning him midweek and captaining him and watching him just look so angry, so frustrated. None of that was there today. None of it. Everything was fun and everything was enjoyable and everything was direct and he was the player to be. So, hey, it's frustrating. Am I looking to sell him? No. And will I keep him for 30? Absolutely. Would he be on my team sheet if I was free hitting? 100% all day long. It's probably as much as you want to go with it. Is
one xg for Rafinha?
Yeah. 1 xg on his shots, but 2 xg if you add in the chances that he made for everyone else.
Yeah.
Is what more can you ask for? Gelhardt's an interesting one for next week. I might get my 11th man by dropping Brozier to Gelhardt. That's currently where my thinking is, because of Tony's fixtures after, and think maybe I just want to take an extra player and go that way.
And that's why I wanted the bench boost in the last 2 weeks, and
yeah,
I can't move to a. Well, you say that. I mean, I know he came on and made an impact, but that's kind of what you want. Really, you want your strikers to come on and score goals. It's only Jesse Marsh's 3rd game, so
I see a lot of
those
bench
kind of
boosts,
things are good.
And I think it's stupid sometimes. Like, everyone is so convinced about what their bench boost score must be. And I had this conversation with someone the other day and said, if I have a shit bench, so let's say I have 5 points on my bench and I have 150 points in my 11, or I have 30 points on my bench and 100 points in my 11, which one's the winner? The one that gets the most points. We're so obsessed by what that bench gets. And it's like, but if I get 1 point from the 4.5, but it gives me an extra 2 million, which means that I can then get a better premium in midfield who gets 10, 15 more points. So the Coutinho over the Ramsey last week, we saw people bench boost last week and they were like, yeah, I did all right. But you had Ramsey and not Coutinho, didn't you? Yeah. So my extra player in the team covered that bench. So yeah, well done, mate. It's about 15 players. It's not about 4 when people bench boost. It's that you don't have to think about the decision. It's where you go with it. So even if you've got bench boost, I don't think you just need to go, oh God, but I might only get that. Realistically, the best thing anyone wants from bench boost is 4 keeper games, isn't it?
Yeah,
that was the only regret that I had last week when I did it, was I didn't have 4 keeper games.
Yeah,
everything else is you just want the best players.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I wouldn't be against it, even if you haven't and you have wild carded.
Fair enough. Where we go next?
Southampton, quickly, probably.
Quickly, because I didn't see any of this at all. I haven't even seen the goals. Who scored?
Cucho.
Scored? Cucho scored a couple.
Cucho scored a couple.
And Elyounoussi scored. I was dreading that being Ward-Prowse when it came up on SofaScore, but
no lie, mate. When I saw that come up, I was like, please don't be Ward-Prowse, please don't be Ward-Prowse, please don't be Ward-Prowse. Sort of thing, maybe Brozier obviously got a rest, which everyone predicted. Everyone knew that was coming. So again, if you didn't think that was coming, then you need to follow more of the right people, because so many people moved him off their starting 11, but apparently he might have picked up a knock as well, so he might be out.
Fair enough.
Don't want players from either now.
Nope, not interested.
They're done for the season.
I've got Dennis, but I'll try and move him on somehow. I mean, to be honest, I could move Dennis on to someone like Gelhardt and actually probably not to be too fussed about it.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool in 31 for Watford, Southampton away to Leeds, maybe Brozier. Yeah, I think I'd rather Gelhardt.
It's just shit, isn't it?
And then obviously Brozier can't play 32 because they've got Chelsea.
Yeah.
Get rid of him.
Yep. Who we go next? Chelsea?
Yeah, Chelsea.
Lastminute.com.
Lastminute.com. Good teams do good things. Good players do good things. Kai Havertz is a good player.
Yeah.
Another reason why I like the idea of going to someone like Gelhardt, gives you the option of going a Coutinho or a Rafinha up to a Diaz or Havertz. Like Havertz finished last season so strongly. He's firmly first choice. He took that goal so well. Really annoying.
Took his goal in midweek well as well.
We can't even accuse him of paying the officials, can we? For the lack of penalty.
No.
Can't afford it. Can't get the transactions through.
No bank account. No sponsor, as you can see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they got lucky. Really, that I was really hoping to see Wood on a penalty. Would have been a delight, but didn't happen. Those Rudiger owners got another game, got another clean sheet out of him.
Yeah, but Thiago rested this week, so it's just quite interesting. You know, when we were talking about Rudiger, James, Thiago, the answer was Chalobah, apparently.
Answer was Chalobah, apparently, but there's a slight smugness for me at the fact of not really liking the Rudiger pick, that James has still outscored Rudiger in the one game he played.
Out of the 3, but then Rudiger didn't play.
Potential 3.
Yeah, potential 3.
Still then only got 5 points. He's never getting any bonus. That's the point.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in the conversation again today. So why would you want to spend over £6 million on a player that has a floor, as a maximum ceiling of 6, unless he plays Leicester or Spurs? I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Do not understand it. But hey ho, move on.
I mean, Chelsea have got a good run though. I mean, so they
have got a good run. You can't take him out if you got him in, but I just don't like the idea of going there. West Ham Villa, should do that.
Do it. Let's do it.
Look at him. It's not very often that we are happy if a West Ham player scores, but
I mean, we're still not overly pleased about it, but it was nice to see. Well, it was.
It's a good reaction, isn't it?
It's a good reaction.
It's
a heartwarming. It's a heartwarming reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. obviously so much going on in this guy's life at the moment comparatively to football, and he's been asked to do his job, which is to entertain essentially. And he's scored the winner. So
we can be quite
he scored
naive
the
on
winner?
it, but
Yeah,
well, he scored the first goal,
scored the
which
first goal. Sorry.
effectively is the winner, I suppose, in a way, because they got the late consolation. But yeah, when he scored and then the action, I was like, why is it? What? Oh God, yeah, and it's bad, isn't it? Like that. My immediate thought was, what? Oh yeah, yes. So tough, but you just see it when it pours out of them.
Yeah,
Pretty crappy, mate. And Declan Rice was so good today. I watched the majority of this game, and again, you just feel like he's such a good player. Whoever, if it does go some, I feel for West Ham because they're getting what we've had for Tottenham with Kane for every season, where it's like, well, if someone else gets in, they're laughing. But wow, like that second goal, breaks up play, dribbles past a player, runs 50 yards, lays it off to Ben Rama, who then puts it across to Fornals. It's like the man can literally do everything. He's just a very, very good player. Souček, or Souček, I always just call him Souček because that's what we called him when he first came in. Absolutely sat on Coutinho. Was brilliant. They did a number. Billy got late consolation, but they did a good number on him. Ings keeps coming off, so I don't think he's an option at all. I just don't think Watkins gets enough goals for us to think we'll ever go there.
fair enough.
Yeah,
No, I can't disagree with that.
Can't disagree with that. Everton Wolves. We'll skip Everton, shall we? I mean, look at the game. XG, like.
Yeah. I've got no interest in either, to be honest.
I did ask. So I will relax. I asked a guy, FPL teacher, FPL_teacher, to just give us a few, because a lot of people are looking at Wolves, and some people are thinking, do I bring a Wolves player in? So I asked him a few questions. So I asked him about Jimenez. He said, look, he just gets no service. And then Hwang went off immediately, which is his link up. Podence is much greedier. He just becomes even more nothingness.
Yeah.
So probably expect that again with him. Jimenez, I wouldn't bring him. I'd bring Toney in again on free hit over Jimenez, and I'll be looking to get rid of Jimenez as soon as I possibly can. Defenders, Cody and Kilman were good. Gordon terrorised Marcel, so he thinks St. Nori comes in. Size did okay, but he said listen out for any hints, because if Bolly's coming in, he thinks he's coming in for Size. So that could be interesting for everyone that's got him, which is quite a few. If you're looking at a punt, Ruben Neves, but I think you'd go Eriksen if you were looking at it that way. I just think you would. Same on Podence, just ridiculous. Jose Sarr, maybe. Yeah, maybe on free hit. I think you still go Ramsdale. But if you've got him, you probably like him. So yeah, boring teams. Move on.
Fair enough. It's weird because, well, yeah, I mean, it's weird because Ruben Neves as a footballer, I just like to watch him. He's a good player. I like him because he hits the ball well as well. Loves a banger.
Yeah. Another lad, player. A bit like the Romero one, where he looks 10 years older than he is as well.
Oh my! He's 24.
Yeah. So is Romero. 24.
I think who was it? The FML FPL boys. Like, I think Alon was saying that he thought he was like 31.
Yeah, you would do.
But then I think he was confusing him with Moutinho. But isn't Moutinho like 35 now?
Yeah, I think so. It must be at least that.
So yeah, there's a massive. Yeah, he does look a lot older than he is. Who have we got left? We did that one.
Arsenal, Leicester. That's it.
Is that it?
That's it. This one, their XG. This is one of the things where you need to, like, if you're going to be someone that just quotes XG when you're trying to talk about teams, and we'll see that at some point this week, where someone will say, go on Arsenal, because look, they continually have high XG chances and all those ones. And next year, over 3 last week. So, Partey heads the ball at the goal from 3 yards out which Soyuncu handles and somehow doesn't get sent off because, again, well, they've got the penalty, we won't bother. Luke Thomas might have cleared it off the line. He wouldn't have cleared it off the line. He only cleared it off the line because Soyuncu handled it. There was no chance on earth he was clearing it off the line, as Soyuncu didn't. But what you have there is that you get the chance for Partey to score, which is like 0.7 xg because it was like 5 yards in front of the goal. And then it results in a penalty.
You get another 0.8 xg.
So half their xg was from the penalty. You don't get one. You only get one or the other. Like it makes it really stupid, and that's where those sort of timing charts are quite useful when understand that you look at, as you can see it that they went from they were 0.6 xg, and then suddenly they were 2.5 xg in the space of 5 minutes, and it's just because of that happened. So effectively, it's about 1.5 xg. They weren't that threatening. I didn't think that. I thought as a Saka owner, I never felt like I was getting a goal. I thought Martinelli was dangerous. Lacazette didn't
First
ever feel like
first half in particular. I mean, I thought that Arsenal were quicker. Obviously, they were quick out the blocks, and as you say, quite threatening early on, particularly down that left-hand side. We were talking on Spaces saying how dominant they were, and then Leicester, the last 10 minutes of that first half, completely flipped it, and were controlling large parts of the ball, and were a lot better. Ramsdale made one unbelievable save, and I can't remember who it was from, but it's from a header, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can't remember who it was, but yeah, ridiculous save.
But it was absurd.
It was so good that it was Mark Albrighton. No, it was Harvey. No, it was Harvey Barnes. Sorry.
It's Harvey Barnes.
It's Harvey Barnes from Mark Albrighton. Yeah. Even Brendan Rodgers said, wow. I mean, that's
so good. His hands are so strong. His distribution is obscene. The number of times he hit the ball 60 yards long to the channel, and it never went out on the throw on the fall and landed on the header. And they're not big guys. His distribution is ridiculous. He's an absurd FPL asset because this baseline is just monstrous.
So then take that to a real life perspective. You think we should have him in an England shirt ahead of Pickford?
Yeah, all day long.
Absolutely, isn't it?
It's not even a question for me. He's the best keeper.
He surprised us as well. I'll be honest about that. I never expected him to be what he was. I mean, he basically came from 2 relegated sides, and to be fair, given his probably level of confidence after those 2 years, what he's doing this year is quite remarkable as well. So
he needed a game like that today.
Quite happily see him do that as often as he likes in an England shirt. A bit less than an Arsenal shirt, but
yeah, he's been a bit shakier the last few games, but he was so good today. Harvey Barnes is the one. If you're gonna punt on him, Harvey Barnes, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone else, you can't trust them, can you?
No, not really.
You can't pick which of the forwards is going to play. Can't pick any of it. Even if you know who the Europa team is, I don't think you can trust them, and you just don't think their concentration's there. Because, like you say, when they turn it on, it's great, but then just turn it off again for 70 minutes. Too tough, mate. So,
I think we're there.
Are we just Captain Kane? Game week 30?
Game week 30, yeah, feels obvious. I don't think there's any point in... There's going to be enough... there's going to be enough in game week 30 that I just don't think it's worth bothering with any risk whatsoever. So it's just one of those weeks you just get through it and you'll be fine. And then go from there. I mean, I'm not sure. I think I saved myself a transfer making the move that I did this week because I did the JWP out, which means I kept Dawson in for it. Doesn't mean I've got triple Spurs against Dawson, but that's fine. It's just points at least. 2 versus nothing, hopefully. Or 1 versus nothing, hopefully. And so I could roll in 30, play 9, and I think it's 9, and be okay. I may I probably need to do a bit. I mean, you're looking at my rank at the moment, 293. I'd hope I'd be somewhere around the 250 mark by the end of the week. If Salah doesn't play, that could be a little bit higher. If Kane bangs and I get some clean sheets from the City boys, so we can see how that goes. But the bus team at the moment has, what do I have? No, I only have 8, so I probably do need to make one transfer to get that 9th player in.
Yeah. Do your transfer, but I do not think anyone should be. As it stands, I don't think anyone should be hitting. I don't see it. I don't see anyone with the upside that tells you need to do it, unless you've been setting your team up in a not optimal way. That means you've got no choice but to. So, if you've got a place where you're going into this week and you've not got 2 Arsenal and 2 Tottenham, like, I don't know why you've got to that place, because they've been doubling.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you should be there already.
You should be there already.
I mean, and that just screams free hit at that point.
Yeah.
And most people have one of these chips left.
Yeah.
So if you need to use it, I mean, I would say if you need to use it now, use it now. Yes, 33 is going to be good. 36 is going to be good. 37 is going to be a double as well. But you might find yourself further behind, and we don't know what the future does hold. It could mean a Salah injury, which could change things. It could mean a Kane and Son injury. It could mean a Ramsdale injury or whatever. So things could change. The template could move. We'd have seen it.
Just kind of understand though that there's a ripple after it. So I know a lot of people are thinking about maybe wildcard in 31 after then. Tottenham home to Newcastle and Arsenal away to Palace. Even Wolves and Villa playing each other. Like, good things will happen for people that have those players. In that game, Leeds at home to Southampton, after what we've seen from Southampton recently, there's a lot of people that are going to carry players from 30 into 31. So that free hit, I do think you've got to be in a pretty bad position to play it. Is my thoughts on it. Is unless you wildcarded in 29 with a specific aim to free hit, I don't think I'd do it.
Fair enough.
Cool.
We'll leave it there.
Yes, leave it there, mate.
Cool. Right. Bit of admin stuff. So, guys, remember to follow us on Twitter, just down there below, at Above Average FPL for the podcast, and at Baker FPL 343. Did I say that right? At Baker FPL 343. Make sure you drop us a like on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We promised ourselves, and we said to ourselves, if we get to 1,000, once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will buy ourselves lovely new microphones. With the support of our sponsor. So, we're only 25 odd away. Let's make that happen this week. It'd be really great if we did that. We've got some great content coming up in the next few weeks and leading up to the rest of the season. We should have Andy FPL_tactician, Andy Martin, with us next week. You talking about maybe not hitting that wild card in 31. I think he's going to hit that wild card in 31. So that's going to be an interesting conversation. And we've also got plans to get Sam Bonfield from FPL Family, as well as Mark McGettigan, so the FPL General. So we're going to get him on the pod as well. So some good names coming up. We've got some good names before. We've got some good names coming up.
I like it. Locking them in, even though, we haven't sorted it out, but we're locking them in.
No. These are confirmed. They're confirmed. They've agreed that they will come on. So, we're looking forward to having them, all 3 of them on before the end of the year, which is going to be amazing. So
amazing.
Yeah, once again, guys, if you let us know what you're doing this week, drop a comment down below, and
good luck.
Good luck for the rest of the week. Good luck for game week 30.
See you later, mate.
Cheers, mate.